Droid yelled at me during the break. And he said, Snowman. And I said, what? You got to let me have the next segment. Oh, yeah? Why? Gary Bettman. That's all I needed to hear.
Yes, sir.
Now cook, damn it.
Gary Bruce. Yes, I'm going to call you by your middle name as well. Gary Bruce Bettman. You think that being the only commissioner in the NHL means that you can tell the players whether or not they can play for their nation?
Mm-mm.
And what I say to you is you are stupid, you are dumb, and you are dumber.
Damn.
If you want to know who wrote the Dummies Guide to Hockey, probably Gary Bettman.
Probably.
And underrated darkness. Not only is Gary Bettman about to get it, he is getting it. Continue.
If you look up Gary Bettman on, let's say specifically Bing, nobody uses Bing, but it says, quote, "We encourage the growth of women's hockey." I'm gonna stop you right there.
Whoa. What?
He said, quote, "We encourage the growth of women's hockey."
Okay. Cheyenne, Jody, Sonia, all the ladies in my family, you're gonna have to forgive me. Dakota would just say go for it, and he was here yesterday. That's my birthday boy. But that's some grade A homogenized Holstein bullshit. If I ever heard it. Continue.
Yep.
And for those who don't know why I'm saying that, if he cared so much about women's hockey, why do we need a separate league for the women? Why do we need to separate them?
Touchdown. And the PWHL will come to Snowman Multimedia. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Go on.
You can give me the whole, oh, men are stronger than women excuse all you want.
Man, listen.
But have you even watched a single one of these PWHL games, Bettman?
No.
Have you seen how hard they hit? Even though hitting isn't even allowed in the PWHL. They don't care. They will mollywop you.
Has he watched the PWHL game? Class?
Nope.
No.
Whoa. Hold on. Let me get the king of the class to answer your question. Has Gary Bettman watched, paid attention to, looked at, or read about a PWHL game? I know I'm gonna get zapped for this, but Bishop Bullwinkle. Woo!
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no. Listen.
Again, class. No.
And here's another thing. Gary Bettman made a contract for the players that they cannot participate or represent their nation in the Olympics until 2026.
Ain't that a bitch?
That's disgusting.
2026, which is the exact reason why the IIHF was formed. Was so these players could represent their nation. They should not have to go through the IIHF just to represent their nation. They should be allowed to play in the Olympics. And I am getting sick and tired of Gary Bettman basically controlling every single player. I want to see Uvis Balinskis, Latvian defenseman, represent his country in the Olympics. I want to see Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby represent Canada in the Olympics. I want to see Alexander, the grade A Ovechkin, represent his country in the Olympics.
And of course, I want to see Patrick Kane, Connor Bedard represent our country in the Olympics. Although I think Bedard will represent Canada because
Bedard will represent Canada. But I think the name you're looking for is Austin Matthews.
That's the name I'm looking for. Thank you. Austin Matthews, Patrick Kane, hell, Jonathan Taves can represent. Jonathan Taves can represent Canada because y'all know I love me some Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane together.
And here's the thing. He was born in 1952. Before he went to the NHL to become their first and only commissioner to date, he joined the NBA as the director of marketing and legal.
Yep, he sure did.
And do you want to know how much controversy and like legal things happened within Barry's time in the NBA?
Start from the top, please.
Well, he played a role in the soft salary cap system implemented and agreed by the NBA in 1983.
Yep, he did. I remember reading that. I remember reading that story with my dad. Go on.
And we also, if y'all remember, there was plenty of performance enhancing drug allegations going on throughout the league.
Yep, there sure was.
And what you probably noticed around maybe 1992 that slowed down.
Yep.
Huh. I wonder why. Oh, because Gary Bettman on December 12th, 1992 was elected as the first commissioner of the NHL. He didn't take office until next year in February.
Yep. It took that long for them to get Gary Bettman. Give me this button. Away from the NBA. It took that, folks. He came into the NBA in 1983. 9 years later, there was so much controversy, and Gary Bettman, and I know this is a conspiracy theory, but y'all are going to need to follow the money for this. 1985, May of 1985, New York City. Do I need to say anything else?
No.
Big drum. Do I need to give any more clues? And oh, by the way, during that live broadcast, which was at halftime of a playoff game, who was sitting there with David Stern?
Oh.
Who was
I wonder.
sitting there?
Yeah, Mr. Bettman.
Who was sitting his punk ass?
Hey, there's your problem right there. Who was he? Who was under the learning tree of? Clown shoes himself, David Stern.
And who was sitting his punk ass in that room when David Stern, bloop, bent the envelope that guaranteed the Knicks
New York
#1 draft pick, which just happened to be the legendary Patrick Ewing.
You want to know something? If you want to know how much Gary Bettman rigs the NHL and the NBA in favor of New York, he graduated from Cornell University, and also he graduated from the New York University School of Law.
Yep. And which two commissioners slandered everything in favor of New York?
David Stern and Gary Bettman.
And save the Giants. You know, none of those teams have won a championship since 1983 with the Islanders. Well, actually, I take that back. 1994 with the Rangers, beating the Vancouver Canucks in a controversy-filled 7-game series. Yes, I said it was a great 7-game series. Okay, it was a great 7-game series, but under the watchful eye of of Gary Bettman. Here's a name I'll throw at Droid, who is our hockey insider.
Yep.
That he should remember, who got screwed many times over. Does the name Pavel Bure mean anything to you?
Vancouver Canucks legend Pavel Bure.
Number 10, Pavel Bure.
And you want to know something? I'm actually starting to agree with the Canadians. the Canadian fans.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this because my Panthers just beat a Canadian team,
I know.
but I do think Bettman has a lot of American bias.
Oh,
I'm certain he does.
He's got a ton. Listen,
Because when was the last time we heard, "Oh, Canada's getting a new team"?
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna hear that either.
We haven't heard that since the Winnipeg Jets was the last expansion team to come into Canada. That was the last one.
Yep.
Since we've only gotten the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, bring that name back, please. Nashville Predators, the Atlanta Thrashers that didn't last, the Minnesota Wild, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Dallas Stars, which became from the Minnesota North Stars, the Colorado Avalanche that came from the Quebec Nordiques,
Yep.
the original Winnipeg Jets, which went to Phoenix, which is why the Thrashers took the Jets' place, and the Hartford Whalers, who ended up moving to Raleigh, North Carolina in 1997.
Canes.
Let me listen. Love watching the Canes and what they do, but can we bring them back to Hartford?
Okay,
give me
Snowman.
Just a minute. I gotta find something. I don't know if I have it. I don't have it. Damn it.
So Snowman,
sir.
You already know one of my games I used to play a lot, NHL 94.
Yep.
You want to know the team I used to love playing against with the Blackhawks?
Hartford Whalers.
No. The Quebec Nordiques.
Quebec Nordiques.
I used to love to play against the Quebec Nordiques.
See, the Quebec Nordiques got screwed.
Massively.
Quebec Nordiques, because you took the Battle of Quebec away.
Yes, you did.
No, do you want to know what screwed over and who screwed over the Quebec Nordiques?
Who?
There's a first overall pick by the name of Eric Lindros. Ring a bell.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
Because he didn't want to play for the Quebec Nordiques.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Philadelphia. And Gary Bettman allowed that BS to happen.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is before Bettman was president, because I think that was in the 80s.
Oh, it might have been. It might have been.
You're right. Marcel.
And Bettman came in and he just kept allowing this stuff to happen. As of recently with Cutter Gauthier, who was drafted by Philly and refused to play, so he got traded to Anaheim. He keeps allowing this to happen, and it's ridiculous.
And he allowed this to happen.
And the thing is, this and back to the Olympic Games. This is the reason that Bettman gave for not allowing players to play in the Olympics.
Okay.
They wanted control over marketing, and they were concerned about travel and risk of injury.
Everybody's got that issue. They do the same thing in the NBA.
Were concerned about what?
Travel and risk of injury. What is the two things that people
scared about that with?
And you're forgetting one thing, Vicola. I said also they wanted control over the marketing.
Right. But the reason why
No.
Sorry.
But the reason why I'm bringing up those 2 points is because it's the same argument that you get from the NBA. NBA doesn't talk about marketing because NBA is going to market. But the two things they always talk about is we don't want our top tier stars to go to the Olympics. That's why New York blocked Carmelo Anthony a lot to go to the Olympics, because of the fact that they wanted him to be there for when it's time for the NBA playoffs.
And I got my thoughts on
there.
And I got my thoughts on Carmelo Anthony to open hour 2, but we'll stay with where we are right now. So Gary Bettman, you suck.
You are weapons grade trash.
Okay, so they're afraid of travel and injury, like the Dream Team wasn't in 1992.
And marketing. So there's marketing, which to me is a boneheaded argument.
Yep.
Because you're gonna get marketing because of the names of the players that are going to be there. That's what gets the marketing.
Super Mario, Wayne Gretzky,
Right.
perhaps.
And
maybe.
also, can I just say something?
Sure.
The NHL had never had a lockout before Gary Bettman came in.
They went through two of them now, or
Three.
Three. I thought it was three.
1994 to 1995
And that's a whole season. That was a whole season.
that
Dan.
lasted
was a whole
104
season.
days.
Yep.
That
was a
shortened the
whole
season from 84 to 48.
48 games.
Wow.
Yep.
The 04-05 lockout, which is the most well-known lockout,
Because that was the
Mhm.
entire season.
Mhm.
because that was the entire season, and it was mainly because the players' salaries had grown even bigger,
Mhm.
and they had to cancel the postseason as well. And it was the second league ever to cancel the postseason since the MLB had its last lockout, which was their 94-95 one, which canceled the 94 playoffs.
Which would have been an extension for the Montreal Expos.
Yes.
It only lasted
And
another.
then the last one,
Mhm.
right before the domination, actually right in the middle of the domination of the Chicago Blackhawks from
2000.
September 15th, 2012 to January 9th, 2013, the owners failed and players failed to agree on a
Mhm.
bargaining agreement,
Yep.
which caused the lockout.
And the
And it
game,
wasn't until January
until-
6th, 2013 where a deal was finally signed.
Mhm.
it took until January for the season to get started, in which the Blackhawks raced through, won the President's Trophy, and then won the big one, the Stanley Cup. Last President's Trophy team to do so. 3 lockouts, courtesy of Gary Bettman. 3. And there's no more Quebec Nordiques. The original Winnipeg Jets got moved. We saw the disaster that happened with the Phoenix Coyotes, and Gary Bettman didn't have the balls to step in and help them get an arena.
And then also the disaster dumpster fire that was the Atlanta Thrashers.
Atlanta Thrashers. Atlanta didn't want hockey. All right, let me just put that out there. For those of you who do a lot of research like you'll know, and I've talked to a lot of Georgians,
Mhm.
Atlanta did not want hockey.
No.
Because at the time they were trying to press the marketing for whom? The Atlanta Hawks.
Because Atlanta is.
And wasn't this also a few years later, about maybe like 5, 6, 7, the Falcons came to town, didn't they?
Right. Because
Oh,
Atlanta's always been about
Atlanta's
football and
always,
basketball.
yep, Atlanta's always been about the Falcons and the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
was
then
only,
also you got the large Bulldogs nation that rides in Atlanta.
that's nearby
Bulldogs.
in Athens. And of course, the SEC championship is where? In Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You think they had time for the Atlanta Thrashers?
Nope. But
No.
they do have a team in Atlanta. It's just not an NHL team. It's an ECHL team. Actually, no, not triple A. It's a double A team.
Mm-hmm.
Triple A is the AHL. Double A is the ECHL. And Georgia has 2 teams in that league: the Atlanta Gladiators
Yep.
and the Savannah Ghost Pirates.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan says this: because the spirit of Atlanta had a crap ton of infighting, owners
Yep.
were suing each other for control. That's why the Thrashers failed. Yep.
Yep, that's true.
And the product suffered from day one.
They really did.
The owners were suing each other, and then the crap deal with Phillips Arena. At the time, it was called Phillips Arena.
What
These-
even is that arena called now? I don't even know.
State Farm Center. Yeah, I know. Because you got one.
That just says it all.
Because you got one of those in Champaign, Illinois, which was known for a long time as Assembly Hall.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Also,
guess
what is it with arenas and not being able to find original sponsorships? Like, I think you could name 5 arenas sponsored by State Farm.
yep. And I've been to two of them. One in Champaign, Illinois, and the other at Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
That's a big problem.
then
But
you got State Farm
we got to go back to Bettman.
Then you got State Farm Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona, or Glendale, Arizona, which was University of Phoenix Stadium for the longest time. But back to Bettman. Go on.
And it
Sir.
should have stayed that.
Bettman has caused the collapse of multiple organizations in the NHL. The Atlanta Thrashers, the original Winnipeg Jets, as of recently, the Arizona Coyotes,
Coyotes,
the Colorado Rockies,
mm-hmm.
before they moved to Jersey.
Before they moved to Jersey, and they moved to
He has
Jersey.
been the cause of the collapse of so many orgs
Mm-hmm.
that I swear you could call LeBron James with how much he's collapsing orgs.
Don't get me started.
I just want
Good.
the average NHL fan to open their eyes and see what Gary Bettman really is. He's a snake. He is a liar who has lied to your face for the last 20 plus years.
25 of them to be exact.
I think it's more like 27.
27. Okay.
Oh,
Jody,
we could even say 30 years because he came in like 92.
let's just say 30 years. Jody just got in my ear. Thank you, honey.
30 years. He has lied to our face about, oh, everything's fine. You know, the NHL is actually going in a great direction.
My ass.
And then, hold on. Editing in post. Can we show the viewer retention graph for the NHL over the past, 10 years?
Live
And
research.
Snowman could probably do the motion with his hand.
There.
It goes down. And
You ruined it.
the Sunshine State of Florida. The last 5 years of Stanley Cup Finals have either had Tampa or Florida.
Florida.
Mm.
The 2019-20 Stanley Cup Final was the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars. 21-21
Mm-hmm.
was I believe this was, no, it wasn't Colorado. This was Tampa, Montreal.
Yeah.
21-22 was Tampa, Colorado. 22-23 was Vegas, Florida. And 23-24 was Edmonton, Florida.
Edmonton, Florida. Yep.
The last 5 years, hockey has ran through Florida.
Mhm.
And you know how Minnesota is called the hockey state?
Not anymore.
Mr. Vicola, can you tell me how many Stanley Cup Finals the Wild have been to in the last 10 years?
I'll answer that.
Zero?
I'll answer that with a sound.
Zero.
Zero. State of hockey for what? And oh, by the way, Minnesota, when was the last time you won a national championship in hockey?
I think the same number applies.
Let him think.
Let's see, carry the 1, divide by 0.
If you remember,
Calculate.
the last Minnesota team to win the national championship wasn't even the University of Minnesota.
Nope.
It was Duluth.
Duluth. UM Duluth.
And yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 0 again.
The University of Minnesota has not won a national championship.
Fellas, stop. Just a minute. I just got some great news.
Oh,
Indiana Northwest is interested in me doing their basketball games.
hey! Return back to the Gary area.
I just got the word. I'm gonna get my car checked. I'm gonna get my car checked out, get it in shape, and then my honey's coming with me for game nights.
Nice.
And I'll give you the answer for the last time a Minnesota team won a national championship. 2019.
Mhm.
It was Duluth.
It wasn't even U of M. It was U of M Duluth.
Yep.
I've called games in Williams Arena in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've called games in the Metrodome. I haven't hit US Bank Stadium yet.
You want to know something? So I actually had the privilege to go to AmSoil Arena in Duluth and watch that national championship game.
Was it loud? Because I
It
watched
was loud. It was the loudest I've heard a Minnesota arena in years.
Was it loud as hell as I thought it was?
Yes, it was loud.
What's the capacity in that place? What's the capacity?
Because this was a watch party, by the way. Just to let you know, because remember, these national championships are held elsewhere. They had a watch party at AmSoil, and it was deathly loud.
I believe it. What's a capacity in there?
AmSoil, I do not remember off the top of my head.
14, 15 grand?
The capacity is 6,726 for hockey.
Sounds like 15,000 to me.
But it sounded like we had at least 10,000 in that arena.
Right.
Like I said, I've had the pleasure of doing a hockey game. No, check that. Hockey games in Williams Arena. I never thought I'd have a chance to see the old barn.
Right.
14,625.
It goes to show again.
Four nights of hockey in Williams Arena. 4 nights of youth hockey, as a matter of fact, in Williams Arena. What was the attendance there for all 4 nights? 14,625. And that joint can roar. That joint can roar. So if you have only a capacity of 6,000, and I'd love to do a game at UM Duluth, just saying.
I'm sure AmSoil would love to have you. And here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact for you. Do you know where the Golden Gophers play?
It's not Williams.
It's not Williams anymore. It's Ritter.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because they did play at Williams Arena. For the longest time, they played at Williams Arena, but then they moved. Then they moved, didn't they?
I think so.
Renovation, code restriction, and they had to lessen the capacity to 14,625. But
my point to the lovely people at University of Minnesota, if you want me to be at all impressed, stop messing around. Actually care about your men's team, because you want to know the last time they won a national championship?
And it was
2003, the year I was born. I was born in 03. And that was the last time they won.
So, to Gary Bettman, I'll just finish this by saying, shut the fuck up, will you please?
I'll put it like this, and Ray gonna have to help me.
Oh no.
Gary Bettman, there's one thing that you and all of the dumpsters here in Chicago, Illinois are full of. And they are trash.
Trash. Now get the up. Try again. Now get the up.